On record at 2:01 p.m.
We're back on the record. Are you guys ready? The state ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Okay. Bring in our jury, please.
All rise.
Jury in at 2:03 p.m.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope your lunch was satisfactory. We are ready to continue. Mr. McClelland, you may call your next witness.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, can we publish our Exhibit M from the last witness?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Defendant's Exhibit M published.
Judge, while she's doing that, is it okay, do you want me to go ahead and call my next witness?
Sure.
Judge, the state would call Jeremey Chapman, please.
Witness sworn.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. State your name for the record, please.
It's Jeremey Graham Chapman.
And I've done a poor job of this in the past. Will you spell your last name for the record, please?
Chapman.
Are you currently employed?
I am.
How are you employed?
With the Indiana State Police as a system administrator, civilian.
How long have you been employed with the Indiana State Police?
For over 30 years.
Could you just sit back just a little bit? That's great for the mic, but you're...
Okay.
We're getting a little reverb.
Okay.
That's even better. Thank you, sir.
So the microphone, as the court said, it amplifies out to the crowd, but not for us, but they need to have an accurate recording. So if you just sit back, I think she'll be able to pick you up. If she can't, she'll let you know. Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
All right. I forget where I left off. Been employed with the Indiana State Police. How long you been employed with them?
Over 30 years.
And to be a trooper or involved with the Indiana State Police, did you go through specialized education or training?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Well, I went to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy in 1994, and then subsequently, proceeded my career throughout the state police. I'm a retired state police officer now and I have been for 3 years, but before that, when I retired, I was sworn, I was with the sworn side.
And before your retirement, in the Indiana State Police, what was your role?
Specifically, it was forensic examiner, and I had a dual role of an audio/visual technician as well.
And did you have to go through specialized education and training to fulfill that role?
Yes, I did.
I'm gonna show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 208. Can you just identify what this is?
That's my curriculum vitae, my CV.
I want you to look at this one, please, first.
Yes.
All right. And is that an accurate, snapshot of the various training, education, things you've gone through throughout your career?
Yes, sir.
Judge, the state would admit or move to admit what's been marked as State's Exhibit 208. State's Exhibit 208 offered.
No objection.
All right. Without objection, 208 is admitted.
And, Judge, the state would ask permission to publish that to the jury, please.
You may.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Chapman, your role in the Indiana State Police, or the duties you were assigned with before you retired. Can you give me the title of that role again?
Audio/visual technician.
How long were you in that role?
That role became several years after I was a forensic examiner, so 2006 till I retired in 21.
And prior to 2006 is when you were a forensic examiner?
I was a forensic examiner from 2006 to the present. About 2000, it's in my CV, 2014 and 15, I got additional training to be the audio/visual technician, so...
Tell me about that role as an audio/visual technician. What were your duties in that role?
That would be to work with evidence and enhance audio or, in most cases, video or images.
And did you have go through specialized training and education to complete that function or that role?
Yes, sir.
And was that here?
I'm sorry, that was.
Did you go through updates and training here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what kind of equipment and/or programs did you use to complete your role as a video/audio technician?
Well, there's several different ones that we would use over the course of my career, but the main one would be AMPed or Axon 5, which is a video forensic suite that helps work with the video and make images better, make images or video better.
And so what are your, as an audio and visual technician, what are your capabilities? When you receive a video or a picture, what kind of capabilities do you have to work with that kind of material?
So the basic role of an audio/visual technician will be to take the media and make it presentable and clear for the trier of fact.
And you use those programs you talked about, I think you said AMPed. You use those programs to do that?
Yes, sir.
And so within those programs, and within the equipment you have, are you able to make pictures and videos, I want to say, clearer or crisper?
Yes. A good analogy that we like to use in the industry is if all the data is in there in a picture or video, and my goal is to turn a light on or brighten it up so you can see all the data that is in there, so just make things a little more articulate and clear to the juror.
Does that include the audio that goes along within the video that you get?
It did, but the audio's different software and different techniques too.
What kind of software and techniques do you use with the audio?
The audio would be Adobe Suite would be Audition, with the help of some plugins from Cardinal Minilabs, which is, they create filters specifically to make things sound better.
And when you make things sound better, you said you use filters?
Yes.
What is the goal of using that filter? What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, it might be to eliminate some kind of background noise or, a fan noise, or just pull a siren from a police car out so you can hear without the siren. There's multiple different reasons for filters, and there's multiple different filters to apply to get an end result.
I want to take you back to 2017. In 2017, what position were you in? What was your position within the Indiana State Police?
I was sergeant with the Indiana State Police, doing the dual role of a forensic examiner and an audio/visual technician.
So on top of what you testified about being an audio/visual technician, you were also doing forensic extractions?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of items were you doing? Were you doing forensic extractions of phones?
Yes.
What other kind of items?
Computers, laptops, iPads, thumb drives, hard drives, anything digital where the data can be stored.
And how did you get involved with the investigation into the murder of Abby and Libby?
I was sent a video recovered by one of our forensic specialists.
Do you know who sent you the video?
I think it's Lieutenant Brian Bunner now. I think he was sergeant back then.
And what was the video of?
It was a video of two girls and guy walking on a bridge.
I'm gonna show you what's been marked.
Or a railroad track.
I'm sorry.
Or a railroad track, railroad bridge.
I'm gonna show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 200, and I'm gonna play this video for you, and I want you to observe the video, please. By playing, is that the video that you received from Lieutenant Bunner?
Yes, sir.
And does that accurately represent the format that it came to, or that you got it in?
Yes, sir.
Once you got that video, what did you do?
I insert that video, I import it into the AMPed 5 software, and I use the AMPed 5 software to break it down frame by frame and look for candidates for enhancement.
What makes a good candidate for enhancement?
A lot of pixels and a lot of detail.
And are you able to tell through the programs that you use which frames have a lot of pixel and a lot of detail?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you put this video through that program?
I did.
Tell me what you did next.
I specifically drove to let the video play toward the end, where we tried to get a visual of the suspect's face and try to identify, or the person in the blue coat's face and try to identify or get a working picture of what that gentleman may look like.
And I know this may be elementary, but the person you're referring to is the male at the end of the video?
Yes, sir.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so specifically, what did you do?
I looked for frame candidates that would provide me with enough information to try and get a good image of that person.
And did you find frame candidates?
I found 3 that were decent candidates for assistance in the investigation.
And can you tell me about what you were able to find through putting those candidates through the program?
Well, once I identified a potential candidate, I went on to try and enhance.
And in this case, how many pictures were you able to get that you had an opportunity to enhance?
Well, there were hundreds of in there, but these 3 that I will present are the best of them. The others would be fuzzy and littered with artifacts and not really workable images.
And did you enhance those photos?
I did.
And after you did this, did you draft a report about what you did?
I did.
And would it assist you in looking at that report to help you testify about what enhancements you were able to make to those photos?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 209. Can you identify this for the record, please?
Yes, that's my report for this case.
And can you tell me the date your report was made?
February 16th of 17.
Is that the date that you received the video from Lieutenant Bunner?
I don't believe so. I just did the day I wrapped up my investigation on the case.
Was this report done close in time to when you made the enhancements?
Yes.
And this report, would it assist you in testifying as to what you did to enhance the video?
Yes.
Judge, the state would ask the court to allow the witness to review the report to assist in his testimony.
That's fine.
So, Mr. Chapman, your report consists of photos as well, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And so I want to go through your report. Can you talk about which photos within your report you were able to enhance?
So there are 3 in there. The 370 would be the first one, and that's a frame number of all the frames, so we got all the way to 300, and then 347 would be the second one, and then 343 would be the third one. These all presented a decent candidate for enhancement.
And all 3 of those frames are within your report. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And within your report, you also talk about what you did to enhance those 3 frames.
Yes, sir.
Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Judge, the state would move to admit what's been marked as State's Exhibit 209.
Your Honor, I don't necessarily object to the photos contained in the report, but to the admission of the entire report, I think it would be cumulative of his testimony, unduly suggestive. Yeah, at this point, there hasn't been a foundation for it either.
What foundation are you asking for? He's testified it's his report.
Pardon?
He's testified it's his report. What foundation are you asking for? I'm sorry.
Well, Your Honor, there are all types of there are references to scientific articles, there's references to different what he's done, different tools that he's used, and while it might be helpful to his testimony, I don't know that the R report itself would be admissible.
Any response, Mr. McClelland?
Judge, I think the report is admissible, and I think it'll assist the jury, at the very minimum, at least the 5 pages with the pictures the defense is not objecting to, and so, at the very minimum, ask the court to admit those 5 pictures that can assist the jury to look at those pictures that he's gonna testify about that he enhanced.
We don't have any objection to the first 5 pages.
All right. So you're not objecting to those, so I'll show that is admitted without objection as it relates to the pictures that are contained therein.
And Judge, I would ask to publish it to the jury. I'd like to have them follow along. The problem is, I'm gonna have to tear off the back page, so it may take me a second here.
Yeah.
And, Judge, I'd ask permission to publish those to the jury.
You may. You may proceed, Mr. McClelland.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Chapman, I want to start on page 2 of your report, at the bottom of page 2, on frame 370. Is that the first image or the first frame that you were able to capture and enhance?
Yes, sir.
And tell me what you did to enhance that.
Can I refer to page 6 and throughout on my report? I have it.
That's a good point. The judge did allow you to do that, so let me give you the rest of the report back.
Okay. Starting with.
Okay. Have you had an opportunity to review your report?
Yes, sir.
And does that help refresh your recollection of what you did to enhance frame 370?
Yes, sir.
And so can you tell the jury now what you did to enhance that frame?
So, basically, this is pulling the video back into the AMP5 software and it starts, basically, with the video loader, so it loads the video in. Then, the next thing I did was rotate the image to the correct perspective. Then I cropped the region of this image, resized the image, used optical deblurring to try and get rid of any of the artifacts that were blocking, adjusted the levels, which is a Photoshop term of bringing the light TS up and down to try and increasing the contrast in colors to try and make it as pure as desirable as possible. And then, I'm sorry, and then the deblocking. This is where, when video tends to jump up in frames or they use a lot of compression and it causes the blocking to happen. This item reduces some of that blocking. And then, the unchart masking is basically sharpening, adding detail to the edges of pixels to make a picture better.
After you did all of that, what was the finished product?
It would have been what you see on, it would be the second 370, which was on page 3.
On page 3 of your report, the photograph labeled unchart masking frame 370.
Yes.
That's the end product?
Yes.
And that is the product that you got after you ran it through those various programs or various techniques that you used?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the next image that you attempted to enhance?
The next one was 347.
Is that on the top of page 4 of your report?
Yes, sir.
And what did you do to enhance that photo or that frame?
Again, I loaded the video, I made the rotation, I cropped it down to that specific part of the picture, resized it, adjusted the levels and the sharpening.
And where is the finished product that you came up with after you did all those steps?
Beneath the first one.
I'm sorry?
Beneath the first one, it's...
Okay. On the bottom of page 4, correct?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay. What is the next frame that you enhanced?
It would be 343.
And is that on page 5 of your report?
Yes, sir.
And is that the smaller image at the top of that page?
Yes.
What did you do to enhance that image?
That one again, I loaded the video, rotated it, cropped it, resized it, adjusted the levels, and applied a little bit of optical deblurring.
What is optical deblurring?
That is basically setting the focal point to try to bringing the focus that's not in focus, so you're changing the focal point in a way to make other things.
Where is the what finished product did you get from as a result of those techniques?
It'd be the one directly under it, as well.
The one labeled optical deblurring frame 343?
Yes, sir.
And that's at the bottom of page the middle of the bottom of page 5 of your report.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to or did you enhance any of the frames from that video?
No.
Did you attempt to enhance the audio?
Just a specific portion of the audio.
What specific portion?
The last portion of that video where the male voice says, down the hill, or where the male voice says something.
So there's a male voice at the end of the video, and you tried to enhance that audio?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, can we approach?
Yes.
Sidebar conference conducted.
I was trying to not let him get into that, but they filed a motion in limine in part 1 think on the loop of the audio as to what was said on the loop, so I wanted to address that. I do have an exhibit I'd like to play for him. Down the hill. It's looped 4 times, and I just didn't want to go into the question. I was hoping he wasn't gonna say that until we have a chance to talk about it and get your thoughts on it.
Go ahead. I just think it's, this is me saying that you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Affirmative response. Once you hear something over and over, it becomes unduly suggestive. I don't have a problem with them playing the enhancement once. Okay. I don't disagree. I think the loop is excessive.
Okay. I don't have that alone, so I'm gonna have to, I don't have it. What about him testifying as to what he believes he hears?
I think that is do you he may not. I mean, what the girls say is it's hard to understand and it becomes very suggestive once someone, claims, with all of this he's using, and now he's no expert in listening, and to suggest what these words are, that's prejudicial, plus it is leading, potentially.
There's no case on point in Indiana, but...
No, there's not.
I've looked and looked and looked. The closest case I could find was from Florida from 2023, actually, and they talk a lot about it. The state's belief is it comes in under his opinion as a skilled witness, and that's what they kind of said in the case in Florida. It's not binding, but that's what I could find. It comes in under the 701/702 that he is a skilled witness, he's listened to it, he's enhanced it, he can testify as to what he believes he hears.
And I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with the loop.
I won't play the loop, but I'll just have him testify about it. It goes to 'cause I don't have the I don't have. Down the hill. Once, it's a loop. I don't know how I would have to work a little bit to separate that out.
I don't think he may be a skilled witness in terms of enhancement, but he's not a skilled witness in terms of hearing or linguistics or on listening. I mean, what those sounds are on the video, that's up to the jury to decide, that's not for him to say.
Well, I think your objection there goes to the weight that they're gonna give to that, 'cause they're gonna hear it too.
Yeah, and they can decide what it says, but for him to suggest what it says.
But I think he can, based on his expertise as a skilled witness, testify what he believes it says, and you are free to argue that that's not what you hear, but I don't want it on the loop.
I'm not gonna play the loop, I'm just gonna have.
Okay. And then you can.
I don't have it singled out.
Well, then you can modify your exhibit in that fashion.
You guys have it, but he's not the one that singled it out.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? So I'd have to play it and stop I could try to play it and stop it.
We have it on our computer, if you want to.
If you're willing just to play, he didn't create that one-time play.
I mean, it is what it is, I don't care.
Okay. Then, I can do that.
Okay.
See how easy and helpful I am?
I made copies for you.
You did.
Yeah.
Sidebar conference concluded.
Your Honor, may I ask a preliminary question?
I'm sorry.
Before the audio exhibit.
Yes.
Sergeant.
Mr.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Chapman, do you have any specialized background or expertise in linguistics?
No.
Do you have any specialized background, training, skills in listening?
Other than through the filters and the audio, but not as far as his speech goes.
Okay. And do you have any specialized skills, training, education in hearing?
No.
Your Honor, I would just renew my objections.
Noted. Thank you.
Okay, Judge, thank you. Mr. Chapman, the audio enhancement that you were talking about the audio enhancement that you did from the video. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I believe you testified you focused on the male voice at the end of the video.
Yes.
And were you able to pull out or enhance the audio from that?
I attempted to lay a couple filters on it to try to improve the quality of that audio.
And were you able to do that?
I did that.
Okay. Judge, the state's gonna move to admit what's been marked as State's Exhibit 207. The state's gonna move to admit State's Exhibit 207. State's Exhibit 207 offered.
Any objection other than that which we've already discussed?
No.
I'll show 207 admitted over objection.
Judge, I'd ask the court permission to play that now.
You may. By playing.
And was that the audio that you enhanced from the video?
Yes, sir.
That's the male voice that you pulled out of the video to enhance?
Yes.
And how many times did you observe the video during your enhancement of the photos? Let's go back. How many times did you view the video when you enhanced the photos?
A dozen or so times, I would say.
Did you continue to view the video as you enhanced the audio?
No.
When you were able to, did you pull the audio out of the video?
Yes.
And did you listen to that?
Yes.
And did you listen to that as you tried to enhance the different aspects of that audio?
Yes, that specific portion.
And as you listened to that specific portion, what do you believe the male is saying?
Your Honor, I would just ask that any testimony that Mr. Chapman gives about what he believes the words to be, "You can't put toothpaste back in the tube," occurs after the jury hears this. Otherwise, it is unduly suggestive.
I'm sorry, they've heard that now. It's already played.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Okay.
Well, my opinion is, he says, down the hill. That's my opinion.
I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Ms. Auger.
Mr. Chapman, on if you could pull up your report, sir. Is it 209? Now, so you put the video in the software and it does its magic, if you will?
Yes.
In simplified, non-scientific.
It does the work, yeah, I just tell it where to go.
Okay. And so when I look at the picture on the bottom of page 2 and the picture on the bottom of page 3, page 2 is the, if you will, unenhanced frame, is that correct?
They're right next to each other, the unenhanced and then the enhanced is right next to it.
2 and 3?
2 and page 3, yes.
Okay. And so page 2 is the unenhanced image?
Yes.
Page 3 is the enhanced image?
Yes.
Okay. And page 3 is a little different than page 2?
Yes.
Okay. Because you changed it?
Yes.
So that's no longer the original image?
Correct.
And the software does some, I think I probably can't even pronounce this word, interpolation?
Interpolation, yes.
Interpolation. See, I told you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Interpolation. And interpolation is a method that uses known values to estimate some unknowns?
Yes.
Okay. And it could be a method of constructing new data points based on a range of discrete, of unknown data points?
Right.
So we're kind of doing the best we can, but maybe.
It's, what's your question? I'm sorry.
In terms of what the software does to change that image.
Yeah, the software gives me a few different choices to choose the interpolation for that, for to resizing. You're specifically talking about resizing the picture.
Okay.
'Cause that's where you would use the interpolation.
All right. And it says unchart masking.
Unchart masking would be the sharpening tool, basically.
Okay. In the 3 frames that you've enhanced, basically, at the end of the day, they're changed?
Yes.
You took some sounds out?
Yes, the audio.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Mr. McClelland.
I don't have any other questions, Judge. Thank you.
Does anybody on the jury have any questions for Mr. Chapman?
No response or indication from any juror.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chapman. You may step down. Okay. You may call your next witness.